青春之声，跨越国界，共话未来。
Let us use the voice of youth.
Cross national borders and talk about the future together.
Today is exactly the New Year festival of Miao.
And this is from the Shidong branch from Quandongnan, Guizhou. So this has made me have the passion to think about what would the outside world be. So I want to explore the world outside of my hometown.
It's a cultural bridge.
As I make it as a good showcase for them to see, oh wow, China, we have a different, like a very diverse culture, and we welcome them so much to come in.
Happy Spring Festival.
Happy New Year.
Hello, I'm Chen Zhongrui. Welcome to Global Youth Echo, a conversation program focusing on international youths. And you will hear young people from all over the world share their deep thoughts in their respective fields. And you can find us on Apple Podcasts, 小宇宙 Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And we welcome likes, subscriptions, shares, and donations. Join us to listen the sound of the international youth wave breaking. So the music you just heard is a traditional ethnic music from Guizhou province Miao ethnic group. And have you ever come across a social media post that stopped you from scrolling? A post showing a young Chinese man dressed in traditional ethnic attire and standing confidently at the podium of the United Nations Climate Change Conference and sharing his deep thoughts and visions for ecological protection with the world. And that powerful image captured the heart of millions of people. And today we are very privileged to welcome our distinguished guest Xie Zongxu from Miao ethnic group to be our guest today. Zongxu, hello, welcome to our studio. It's very nice to have you here.
Hello everyone, thank you so much Zhongrui for inviting me to such a wonderful show. So my name is Zongxu and I'm currently a PhD candidate at Tsinghua and Oxford University, and I'm also one of the research fellows for Institute for Digital Economy and Artificial Systems under BRICS partner.
Could you say hello in Miao dialect to our listeners as well?
Video Xie Zongxu.
That's a quite long hello, and you said, hello, my name is Xie Zongxu.
It's like a very formal occasion when you use this phrase.
I see. Thank you, Zongxu, for coming today. I'm very glad to have you here. I see you are wearing this traditional ethnic attire in our studio, and actually I just touched the silver necklace and the belt. They're quite heavy. And could you please tell us more about the attire and what's the story and culture behind it?
Yeah, so this is a very traditional outfit from my community, and for different communities we have for different branches of us we have different type of traditional clothes, and this is from the Shidong branch from Quandongnan, Guizhou. So as you can see that I wear like this whole entire, we wear like this for some very important events like marriage. As for male, we wear this silver necklace, which is very heavy, as you said.
Very heavy.
It's very heavy, and then we also wear this, and this is like all handmade.
Oh, they're all handmade.
All handmade, and then you can see there's some different animals that onto it, and this is the very typical, like we have our stories from the Asian period of time, and we keep it, because for male people, we don't have our characters. So we just memorize our history via this handmade embroideries and also the silvers and also our handcrafts.
So the belt Zongxu is wearing is carved some special patterns. Do they mean something, represent something?
These are flowers, and this one inside is 凤凰.
Ah, phoenix.
Because for Miao people, we share almost the same history and very similar culture to other ethnic groups. So as you shared, we have the same symbol in different communities.
Thank you, Zongxu, and capture the vision through our channel on YouTube, Global Youth Echo. We know that you have been wearing this indigo blue Miao batik clothes in several international conferences and international activities. Could you please tell us, when was the first time you chose to wear this traditional attire in an international conference? Was it the UN Climate Conference?
No, so first time I was been wearing this in many occasions. I grew up in my hometown, which is Guizhou province, and with different ethnic minorities. So for me, I'm part of the Miao, or internationally Hmong, this ethnic group. In my hometown, everybody just wear our traditional attire. So just since around 3 years ago, when I was first in a meeting with the United Nations, but it's in Sharm el-Sheikh for the COP27, so I had the first time to take the opportunity to wear this outfit to show to different audiences around the world.
So I believe this kind of traditional attire is made back in your hometown, right? And could you please tell us about it, the creation process, how it's made?
Actually, I'm not quite professional in how to make this happen, but actually it's this kind of traditional outfit. They are made from very complicated processions. So for me, for example, today I'm wearing this. This is from a branch of our people called Shidong. So the Shidong people, they will boil this with water and then they dry it, like process within a total of 6 months procedure. And after it, they will have this. And they will decorate it with some of the Miao traditional embroidery, and also they will decorate it with silvers as I wear today.
So you mentioned about the silver accessories, the decorations, and Miao embroidery. What do they mean in your culture of Miao people? What do they represent, and what's the story of them?
So in modern life, we wear this for decoration, and then people will say, wow, you guys are so wealthy. But actually, 1,000 years ago, when our ancestors made these silvers, it was because of the war. Because in ancient period of time, we travel a lot, we immigrate to different places because of the war, and we need to carry all the wealthy stuffs with us. So actually, our ancestors will just take this with them and then carry them. It is more easier for them to take it everywhere.
So it is your ancestors are wealthy.
Actually, yeah, because they move a lot, but they would just turn all their wealthy stuffs to carry them with themselves. This is much more easier for them.
Yeah. And you just mentioned about your hometown. So I believe that you're a very outstanding young man, standing on international stages. And I believe that every single journey, every great journey has its roots. So before diving into the deeper international journey, we'd like to hear about your hometown. So could you please introduce about your hometown, Wuzhai Village in Guizhou Province?
Okay, of course. So Wuzhai Village, as you mentioned, is where I grew up with my family and also my neighbors. It was a small village back in my hometown in Guizhou, Qiandongnan. It's surrounded by mountains, and we have different ethnic groups living together. And for us, we share our different multicultural background, and also we live with our neighbor in a harmonious way, and we celebrate our different festivals together. That's what made me here.
So you mentioned the diversity of different ethnic groups. Could you share some of your most precious memories in your childhood time back in your hometown that you may think affected your future career path?
I chose my major for hydraulic engineering, and I didn't change it. I mean, like all the way I do the research till now in the field of water resources management. I didn't change. I just insist on keeping myself on the same road. It's initially because I have witnessed a lot of the water resources that hasn't been effectively utilized in my hometown when I was young. Because my father is an engineer, and he is very passionate to take me around when I was a child. I really got the chance to go to different reservoirs and to see how it functions and how it benefits the local people. For example, back to 2020, when I was in my hometown for around half a year, And I got the chance to participate in the anti-poverty procedure for the final steps, and then I utilized my knowledge of establishing the dam. Actually, it's not a big dam, but it's just for a small part of the channel. So we built a small channel in my village, and then it benefits those people for their irrigation of their agriculture. So there's a tiny thing, but those tiny things just make me feel very, very determined to do what I'm doing currently.
So you're actually using your own knowledge and skills to contribute back to your hometown.
I'm trying to find a way.
That's impressive. I learned that you have Bu Yi, Mu Lao, She Yao, and Miao, and several other ethnic groups. So how did growing up in this multicultural environment shape your worldview and future career path?
So firstly, I think it raised my passions on how I'm thinking about what I'm gonna be in the future. For example, many young people like me back in my hometown, we were living in a multicultural background with different people. We're speaking different languages. We have different, dialects. We have different accents, but we share the common destiny. I mean, we celebrate our events together. Like we travel together from village to village. For example, for the people who live in my village, we are traveling everywhere since I was young, so I can easily get access to different cultural background people and had the chance to communicate with them. So this has made me have the passion to think about the outside world. What would the outside world be? So I want to explore the world outside of my hometown. And after that, when I entered the university in Beijing, and I was thinking about it again, I was thinking how we can gather those people who are from my hometown in Beijing to think about what we can do to contribute back to our hometown.
I'm sorry I forgot to introduce. Today is exactly the New Year festival of Miao, and our guest Zongxu is from Miao ethnic group. So Zongxu, please tell us about some kind of customs and special activities you would hold during the festival.
Sure. So Happy New Year. Today is quite special for our Miao community, back to my hometown. Especially this year is we call it a big year for the New Year, and we celebrate it every 13 years.
Every 13 years?
Every 13 years. And in ancient time, our ancestors celebrated this because we were obtaining our graves, and we do harvest. After the agricultural outcomes, people will sit together and they sing and dance together. They share with you. We will play the traditional lushen, the instrument. Those ladies will sing and dance together.
So I can tell it's pretty important to Miao people. And it's quite a pity that you couldn't be in your hometown with your family to celebrate the Spring Festival. It's so busy for you to to go back. And I also noticed that today you bring a special instrument to our studio with some red and green colors and tubes on it. Could you please introduce what kind of instrument is it? What's its name? And is it special in your culture?
Yes, of course. So this is quite traditional, and this is not only for the Miao community in my hometown in Guizhou, but it's like an international instrument. Like Miao people from Laos, from America, they will also play the same instrument as us. So this is called lushen in Chinese, and as you say that it contains 6 tubes here, and we used to make it from bamboos, but now we are making it with a recyclable materials instead of the traditional bamboos, because we want to also show our ideas on how to not destroying the environment and make things sustainable.
Could you play a little bit for us?
Sure. It is because today is the New Year, so I'm gonna play just a period of this traditional folk music from my community.
Great. Happy Spring Festival. So Zongxu was putting his finger covering the holes of the tubes. And if you would like to see more about how to play this instrument, please find us on YouTube, Global Youth Echo, to see what's going on in the studio. So, speaking of Beijing, I know that you got your bachelor degree and master degree both in Tsinghua University. I believe that making the jump from your hometown to Beijing or Tsinghua University must have been quite a change. You get surrounded by exceptional talents from all over China and even from all over the world. So, did you feel any pressure when you enter Tsinghua University, facing a complete different environment from with your hometown?
Sure, to be honest, it was very stressful at the very beginning. When I entered the university, it was around 10 years ago. As a bachelor student in Tsinghua, and as you know that Guizhou is somewhere we have less educational resources before. So we need to try harder. We need to work harder to catch up with everybody's steps. So based on this, we are trying our best and we make many efforts on how to, chasing with other people. But actually, that has made me feel very, very stressful at the beginning. But later on, I feel like I need to do something different, which is I need to transfer this pressure to something really solid and make my experience in the university meaningful enough. So I'm thinking about where are my strengths lie on. So based on this, I'm thinking about exploring a lot of new stuffs based on the platform that Tsinghua provided to us. So I feel like later on till now, I'm not feeling that stressful anymore.
You were talking about finding your own strength and transforming the pressure into the power pushing you forward. And I'm sure that sometimes the biggest challenges can, lead to our great self-improvement. I learned that there is a particular moment in your university journey that when you were turned down by an all-English interview for a cultural exchange club, right? Many might have just given up, but look at you, you definitely didn't. You chose a completely different path, different way. And could you please share what was going through your mind after that rejection?
Yeah, that was really an unforgettable experience for me. And it's really a changing point for me as well, for my university, because I was a sophomore during that period of time. As you shared, that my experience that time was like a failure for me. But instead of giving up, I just changed my mind quickly because I was thinking that, because, I just mentioned that we come from like the villages or like we're coming from different parts of China where it's relevantly less developed. So we need to work harder to prove ourselves, to make everybody like hear your voices. It's also part of my motivation. I turned this failure into my passion to really think about how I can prove myself. So actually, in this way, I just continuously, actively participating in different student clubs, including the cultural exchange. And I'm also part of the student art troupe in Tsinghua for ballroom dance. So actually, I find many other ways to explore yourself. So later on, I was thinking that I just changed my mind. I'm not there to prove myself to anyone else. I'm just making myself getting better, make progress, and then to make everybody around me to make their life better.
But from my perspective, I see that you chose to take the lesson of English, German, and Spanish and several other lessons at the same time when you were a freshman. From my perspective, it could be a stressing way to, push yourself forward. How do you see your choice and what was the motivation?
I was taking these different courses of foreign languages, not just because I want to prove myself. Definitely, it's not about proving myself. It's all about my motivation. It's my interest. It's of my interest. Like I'm quite interested in getting access to different culture, and I really have the passion. Like really want to open different channels for me and different people from around the world to understand their thoughts. And also, I think it's really where I was a bit weak. For using these tools into conversation. So it's just because I want to understand others better. So I just took these lessons. And it's also partially because I'm really enjoying learning different languages, and especially for the cultures behind these languages.
Now you are pretty good at Mandarin, Miao dialect, and several other languages. Is that true?
Well, yeah, I learned the German since high school, and I learned Spanish since I was a freshman, so till now.
Could you please say something in those languages?
Yeah, of course. So what I want to share is a saying, and also I think according to today's topic, what we are sharing is to talk about how we can figure ourselves and how we can to do things together in the future with a shared destiny. So I think my sentence would be 我们一起共建人类命运共同体. So maybe I will do it in English, German, and Spanish.
Okay.
Okay, so English is we should promote a community with a shared future for humankind. Okay, so for German, it's Wir sollten eine Gemeinschaft für eine gemeinsame Zukunft der Menschheit führen. And for Spanish, it's Debemos promover una comunidad con un futuro compartido para la humanidad.
I must say I don't know German and Spanish, but you sound very native. I'm very impressed. Back in your hometown, you were surrounded by different kinds of ethnic languages. So you got the environment to learn those languages. So in Tsinghua University, did you find any difference learning Spanish and German without the language environment?
I think Tsinghua really created a very good platform for the students who are really get passionate about it. Because, for example, during that period of time, I was taking little courses for Spanish, but our Spanish teacher is there is a collaborative MOU between Tsinghua and the Institute of Cervantes in Beijing. So actually, very, very professional professors to teach us. They try their best to create a very good platform and environment for us to get engaged in and also to learn about its culture itself. So even now, the resources in Tsinghua is even better because we are collaborating with like Beida and also collaborating with the Beijing Foreign Studies University. So they have more courses for the Tsinghua students who are majoring in engineering, for example. They can have more opportunity to choose those courses they are willing to do.
So you were taking interest as your motivation. And you also mentioned you joined the standard dance club in Tsinghua University. And was it because of interest as well? Were there any interesting stories that drove you to join the club?
So, because just now we were talking about where I established my confidence throughout the journey at Tsinghua University. So this is part of it as well. I joined the student art troupe, the ballroom dancing group, since I was a freshman. So it was from the very beginning when I entered the campus. Firstly, I choose it. It's also because of my background. It's like back to my hometown, all of us, we do folk dance. We play this traditional instrument as well in our festivals. So I do have the motivation to learn from different. But standard dance is really a new thing for me because back to my hometown, it's just like a folk dance. As it's a new form, so at the very beginning, I was struggling. I'm not joking, I was struggling with, learn from the technical things. But partially, we need to learn how to communicate and get along with your partners, dancing partner, and also other partners. So it really teaches me how to get along well with different people, and you can create a very efficient conversation based on your technical progresses. So for me, later on, I was turning myself from a transparent participant into a organizer. And also, so later on, I was serving as the captain of our ballroom dancing group. So later on, I also got a chance, I was in Oxford. Also for me, it was really precious opportunity because I represented the Oxford ballroom dancing group to fighting the all UK champion, and finally we won the champion.
Wow.
So
that's
definitely,
impressive.
Yeah, so that really a part of where my confidence come from.
How many Chinese people were there in the dance competition in Oxford?
During that period of time, I think I'm the only one person who is from China in our club during that period of time.
That's really impressive. So I learned that after Munich, you joined the program of a joint cultivation with Tsinghua and Oxford University. How do you find the difference between the campus domestically and abroad?
So besides Tsinghua and Oxford, I've also been to some other universities to study or taking some short-term programs in different continents. Generally, I think there's no such a big difference among these different universities, but I think the main difference for the domestic environment here in China and also the international environment, to go to different universities, about my role. because here I'm a domestic student, so it's definitely kind of different when I serve as an international student outside China. So I think it's mainly the cultural difference, but also the experience, like becoming a student in different environment. I think it's also quite different, because in Oxford, it's like students are divided into different colleges. For example, you and your roommates, you are from one college, but you're from totally different research background, but you are together. So it creates you with a more interdisciplinary environment to do your idea exchange. However, here in China, in Tsinghua, we take activities with our classmates every day here, maybe, and also some of the clubs, and you interact more often with the people who are from the same major.
Did you receive more attention as an international student in Oxford University?
Well, I think it really depends. Because for me, I just came back from Oxford this year, and during that period of time, I also co-founded an organization in Oxford. So I think I just take my role in different aspects. As a student, of course, I'm doing theoretical research with my supervisor there and also with my research group. But as an organizer of some events, definitely we are working with different teammates from different parts of this university. So as for the attention, I would say that if we are doing something like last year's the press conference, of course, I was wearing the traditional outfit. Of course, it attracts a lot of people to get interested in my hometown, Guizhou. But I think normally it's just like a normal PhD for us is to go to the laboratory, to do theoretical research, write papers, publish it, and that's all.
Would they be interested about your background culture and, of course, Chinese culture?
Yeah, definitely quite interesting in this culture. And in August, I have invited more than like 30 students from 12 different countries to go to Guizhou. It's a project called the Tsinghua Global Youth Dialogue. I'm one of the co-founders. And it is just because they see from my social media and see from the press conference that posted by the United Nations, and they get quite interested in the other part of China, because normally, like some of the people who haven't been to China, they have some stereotypes. As I make it as a good showcase for them to see, oh wow, China, we have a different, like a very diverse culture, and we welcome them so much to come in. And most of them it's their first time to come to China, and definitely the first time to Guizhou, and all of them, and they get so impressed. And till now, many of them are still thinking about how they can connect their own career development with China.
Here comes a personal question. Do you cook?
Yeah, I do.
You do. Did you cook when you were in Oxford University?
Yeah, I think it's very, very crucial.
How did your schoolmates from any other country comment your cooking and Chinese food? Did they like it?
So, yeah, for example, this year when we celebrate the China Lunar New Year, we invite a lot of friends from other countries to join us to make dumplings, to cook and together. They really enjoy it, and I think food is really a very good channel for them to know about Chinese culture.
It's a cultural bridge.
Yes.
And actually, what you shared is a common issue faced by many young people and maybe some of our young listeners, because they just found the so-called freedom of the selection of future paths. And some of them are confused and even struggling with the future selections and opportunities and paths. So would you give some advice to our young listeners about their university life and their future career selection?
Of course, in this regard, I think I have a lot of things to share. So first, I will say that never give up when you're faced with any kind of obstacles. Because in many aspects, all of us will meet with different challenges, no matter how old we are and which stage we are in. So for example, when you enter the universities, the most important thing for you is to focus on your studies and to make yourself as professional as enough, and never give up with what you are doing currently. And when you're facing up with challenges, just trying to make a very good conversation, to share it with the people around you, to to proactively seek potential opportunities to communicate with the people who are senior than you and ask them to give you some suggestions and advices. And secondly, I think it's very important for you to like keep yourself fit and healthy. It is very important because according to many statistical research, a lot of young people currently, they are not living a very healthy lifestyle. So I think it's very important both for your physical health and also for the the mindset. It's very important for you to succeed.